Hey, fire. Hey, Robert. I'm actually at the desk for this one. Laying downstream. That'll be maybe tomorrow. There's a game coming out I want to share with people. That one will be a laying down one. I got my mic set up for that. Hey, Dagan. Yeah, I'm sitting cross-legged on my seat right now because it's the only thing that doesn't kill my tailbone. It's been hell for a while. Hey, to do new mods. I don't know if this one's new, but it's new in the Wani workshop, and I haven't played it, so that's an excuse. I know. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I don't think you could notice, but I do have a new mic at my desk this time, so bunch of mods dropped on Steam Workshop. Yeah, I've seen that. Unless you're talking about today, that'd be cool. We've been empty for Left 4 Dead stuff too, unless you want me to stream the Atlas stuff that dropped for that. I could make that tomorrow too. And I was even debating whether to postpone the stream or not, but I'm gonna tough it out. It's hard. It's been like almost 2 weeks, and now I'm jumping back into it. Cooking with Fire is hilarious. I think I streamed that one on one of the Snoot jams. I liked it. Down for Atlas stuff. Yeah, I'll whoop up a Left 4 Dead stream. Maybe I'll do it tonight. Who knows? After the stream, seeing as I don't know how long this mod's gonna be. I'm assuming it's gonna be fairly around the length of maybe a half an hour, maybe. Nice to see you back, Pork. I was starting to wonder where you went. I went to rest, which really didn't do much for me. So now I'm just coping. I'm coping with the pain the best I can. And it sucks. Don't push yourself too hard. I mean, I am, well, I'm not pushing myself. I mean, I took like, what, 9-10 days? And I'm still feeling not right, but I might as well poke at the channel here and there, and if I can do anything laying down, I can stream. I got a bootleg set up. I'm using that bastardized fucking computer that likes to crash a lot, so we'll see how that works. It's a pretty comprehensive tutorial. I wish I had it last year when learning to mod, yeah. Alright, timer is up. Alrighty. I have no idea how to code, so I'm probably just gonna read along and laugh at the jokes and all that. I don't consider myself a modder, but a mod is a mod, so get well soon. Yeah, I'm trying. I've been jumping through different exercises just to stabilize my tailbone, and I feel like nothing's working. I can't go. My insurances is not covering things anymore. Like I know people don't like chiropractor stuff, but they're not accepting my shit anymore. I'm pretty sure the physical therapist I used to see probably isn't taking it anymore. I hate insurances. Even when you're on retard insurance, it doesn't fucking cover, I guess. Alright, I checked this beforehand to make sure it works, and it works. Disclaimer, if any of this is incorrect, please don't sue me. Generic visual novel background. Folly Cooley. Oh, hey kids, I didn't see you there. A little Archipteryx told me that you want to learn how to make your own mod, right? I need to turn this down a bit. Already out of the gate with this one. Now let's save over this. Not really. Okay, bye. Oh, I love shit like that. I'm always tempted. I think we can just load this one, right? It's 2 a.m. here, not America, but I want to watch a little bit of this. Alright. Will there always be the VOD? Yeah. Great! I know making your own mod or even game must look daunting at the start. But if you go through all classes and take enough notes, I'm sure you all can make some fun and hopefully safer work projects. My secret little bit of advice for you, look up the code for other projects and try to understand what they did and why they did it. But enough dilly-dallying, let's get right into it. Oh god. Oh, we could just... What if we just finished the class? We didn't learn anything. Alright, that should cover the base. Okay, I thought it'd get me. Never mind. I thought it'd do a gotcha again. That'd be hilarious. Alright, setup in text. Oh god. What did I get myself into? But first, we have to set up the basic code that can run a mod. This is the basic setup for a mod. Simply type in your mod's name and starting label. I have no idea what this is. But it's being written in Python, I guess? We get more into details later regarding labels, so for now, assume they are like chapters or certain points of your story. Later, you'll also learn how to move between labels, but let's keep going for now. Recently, some pretty sharp fellows created a different solution for creating a mod. Simply create a JSON file like this one and fill it out accordingly. I see. And sometimes I'll straight up copy-paste shit from Snoot and Wane. There is a README file inside the mods folders which explains this in detail. You can also add a thumbnail and icon. Keep in mind to use the correct grammar to make it work. Now, usually you would need to restart the project for the changes to take effect. But that takes too long. Instead, we're going to use a very nifty tool called Developer Mode. The setup is very simple. Depending on your Snoot game library, the file that needs to be changed is either in rempy common 00 library or in the options.rempy. In either case, set the config developer to true to enable automatic reloading in-game. Once that is done, just press Shift plus R in-game and every time you change the code, it reloads the game with the new stuff. Just keep in mind to scroll back whenever there's the changes would have applied, otherwise it won't register. I will never understand these magic rock warlocks and how their secret language makes rocks think. I know, right? Also, every time the game restarts normally, you'll have to press Shift plus R again. And there you go. That should make your mod crafting experience a lot more fun. Or, I would say that, but unfortunately, there seems to be a teeny-weeny bug in the current version where reloading like this leads to the main menu instead. Just add a comment with pound in front of the selected line to disable it. It breaks the reload mod function, but for now, this is the best solution. The file itself can be found here, /game/src/modmenu.rempy. That should cover it for the starting setups. Now you are ready to start tinkering. Alright, Visual Studio R code. Visual Studio Code, or VSC for short, is a code editor that allows us to program like a pro without having to use Notepad. You can work only with Notepad, but using a proper code environment is always better. Of course, you can also use other editors. It comes down to personal preferences and which editor supports Rempi and Python. After installing the newest versions, you can open up the project, including this one here. I code as a career, and yeah, nothing is more helpful than just seeing how someone else does something similar. Simply go to File in the top left corner, then select Open Folder option, and from there select your project. Oh god. Big one, isn't it? If you did everything right, it should kind of look like this. One moment. That's better. What changed? What changed? Now this might look overwhelming, but after this course, this should all be a piece of cake for you. For now, all you need to know is that the right side of your viewport is the entire folder you selected. And this big text field over here is where the content of each file is displayed. There's also a bunch of nifty shortcuts that can make navigation a lot easier. Control F to search inside the current file. Great if projects start becoming bigger. All I know about Control F. By pressing on the little rectangle on the left of the name, you can change all instances of the selected to something else. Very nice for large-scale corrections. Control Shift plus F searches the entire project folder. Useful for finding certain functions and keywords and where they are applied. Control plus pound to comment out an entire section. Great for testing out variables and code segments. Yeah, use Visual Studio Code too. And Shift plus Tab removes indentation much faster than pressing Delete repeatedly. Of course, there's a lot more, but those come with time. While not necessary, they can save a lot of work in the long run. I always say, work smarter, not harder. Remember, some of these might even work in other environments, so pick whatever tool you like to get the job done. Text. First, let's talk about the most basic element, but also arguably the most important one, dialogue. On their own, it's really straightforward. Just write text between two quotes, and it will play the typed text. With every click of the mouse or press of the button, it displays another line, like right now. I don't know all these shortcuts, though. I do it the hard way. Lots of narration is done in this simple manner, since the reader is supposed to focus on the written word. Character dialogue is much more personal, so here would be the perfect place for some animations and such. Now, when writing text like this, you might notice that there's no given name yet. For that, we have to create a character. The way of creating a character might be a little confusing at the start, since there are a lot of pieces attached to it, so let's get through the most common one. We start with the defined keyword to establish the character and a name which we will put in front of any text that's supposed to be spoken by the character. So for me, it would be FC. The next name is the string that will be displayed as the name. Let's ignore the word base for now. The last two parts of the name tag color and the color of the character's name outline. Generally, it's a good idea to have the outline be a darker version of the normal color unless you want to go for a specific combination. Now, base. Here it's a setup as a character so that we can apply it to other characters. All it does is set up CTC. What is CTC? It stands for click to continue. Do you see that funny little icon on the end of the text, signifying that you can start clicking to continue? That's what base 1 does here. Wait, where's that silly little icon? Okay. I had to make a new definition for Sophia so she'd stop coming up as Spears. Oh boy. I wonder why I wonder why Snoot Core fucks up Wani so bad like that. Oh boy. I advise you to add base 1 like this, and sometimes the base setup by the game has trouble being found by custom characters. This is also just a fraction of what the character class can do. Changing fonts, UI, and colors are a few other options. You might be wondering why they both look different. That's because sometimes you just feel like changing things up a little. Hey, Ivan. Like this, great teacher Bacana. The square brackets turn the name into a changeable variable, which means you can now, well, change a character's name. To prepare it, you need to set up the default name like this before the name is first used. Better yet, right at the start, like other variables. If you're still a little confused, that's fine. You see how to use this function more inside the flags and scores class. If you want to add comments to your note to your code, add a pound at the start. Nerd yap, I know, right? My brain checked out a while ago, but this yapping blue raptor is funny. Yeah, we need more Fooly Cooly content. If you type to-do right after the text, you add it to your to-do list inside the Rempe launcher if you use it. To make text more dynamic, we can use text tags. Let's go through some of them. To use any text tags, you have to open the desired text with curved brackets, and the closing brackets need to have a forward slash, or is that a backslash? I think, isn't there a forward slash at the start to set it as a closing statement? If you want to pause the text, like this, use the W equals time of a wait tag. If you just type W in the closed brackets, the game will wait until the player clicks again. Like this. For bold text, B in italic with I. Wanna auto advance the text like this, add the NW tag, be mindful of overusing it, yeah. In Snoot games, Spears is defined as SP, and that's how Sophia is defined in Wani, so one cancels the other. Damn. Hey, Dr. Coconut. Do you want to have certain letters be bigger or smaller? Add the size tag. This can be multiplicative or additive. Want to slow text down or speed it up? Use CPS, characters per second. This can also be multiplicative or additive. The extend tag is not used in brackets, but rather in front of the text like a name. This adds another bit of text after another click. You can also have things like animations and such be played in between. Want to gray out text? Use the alpha equals value with 1.0 being full and 0.0 being invisible. Oh, I was just coding C++. So this mod literally just Dino Girl teaches coding. Yeah, I feel like people will probably check out, and I don't blame them. I'm just here to read the mod. I'm just the messenger. To color some text, use the color equals hex code tag. To put an actual quote in text form, just add the slash sign in the front. New fonts are also obviously an option, but keep in mind that constant changes here might make the reading experience a bit strenuous. Always remember that many visual novels are usually a lot of reading first and foremost, so make it as nice to read as possible. Stick around until later and you will even learn how to animate text. Alright, so that's course 1. Images and movement. Oh boy. Basic images and positioning. With text out of the way, it's time to take a look at the visual part of visual novels. Character sprites, backgrounds, videos, CGs, computer graphics, and so on are all are a part of most, if not all, visual novels. What's considered the easiest coding language. Don't kill the messenger, or the messenger will kill you. When making your own game, having art inside the default art asset folder allows Rempe to auto-detect them, which makes defining them a lot less of a hassle. But since we are making a mod here, we need to put in some elbow grease for proper definitions. To define, you start with the image keyword and the name of the image in question. Image names might have a second or even more words right behind. This is what we call image attributes, while the first one is called a image tag. Attributes are used when you want to reuse a certain image tag. Sprites usually are set up like this. She's speaking in a forgotten language. Having a character switch from smiling to frowning is usually done by switching the attribute. So if we were to switch between Club Day and Club Evening, it would replace one image with the other. What's nice about this approach is that RenP recognizes attributes with the same tags as the same characters, so no accidental duplicates. Now before we go about placing sprites, let's talk about generic images for a moment. RenP has already defined an image called black, which is excellent for black screens, transitions, and such. If you want to set up your own one-color images, then all you have to do is set them up like this. Once you're done with the definitions, we can start putting characters on the big screen. For this, there are two basic statements, the self-explanatory show and hide, and the scene statement. Show and hide are used for nearly all images, especially the ones that will need moving and switching. As I was trying to say, it doesn't matter if the easiest language is considered easy mode, the coders will laugh at me. I just want to learn something new. If this mod actually inspires someone to start coding and they do something impressive with what they learned, I'd be amazed to see if they cited this as their starting point. That'd be hilarious. Might use this someday. Well, it's on the workshop. The scene, on the other hand, is very much static. Think of it as the background of a stage. Like this nice and wholesome classroom behind me. Every time you set an image as a screen, it gets put at the back after it clears out all other images. Let's say your protagonist leaves his home to go to school for the day. No, that would mean you might want to switch from this cozy little apartment. Hey, oh, what the fuck? Language? To his high school. Editor note, the protagonist in question is the local janitor. Now you might be wondering how your great teacher could show up in the same position like this in between scenes. With the power of programming, of course. Who is that? I don't know, maybe a new substitute? Who is she talking to? When it comes to setting up scenes, there's a lot of moving parts that require thorough planning. The most important one might be the placement of images. Framing of a scene is very important, so make sure that a scene is never too crowded and only as empty as it should be. Placing a sprite is also very easy. Simply place an image on the X and Y coordinates you want them to be. Just keep in mind that unlike in math, these coordinates are reversed. X equals 0 means the very left, and Y equals 1 means the very top. Here we place my friend Mr. Cup in the top corner. Notice how we only use the decimal numbers for X. If you use a decimal number in position, it equals to the percentage of the screen, so 0.0 equals 0%, while 1.0 equals 100%. Non-decimal numbers are pixel-based, so in this case, 0 pixels from the top. When placing images, RenP automatically uses the default anchor of 0, 0, so X and Y are set as 0. The anchor is the part of the image that will move to the desired coordinates, so try to keep it as an even number. My advice is 0, 0.5, and 1.0 all work nicely. Keep in mind, though, that every time you set up a new scene or use the hide statement on an image, his anchor goes back to its default. Later, you will learn how to set up your own anchor. If you want to nudge a sprite around a little for choreography, or like for a little old me here, to adjust an image to the screen, you can use offset. Unlike position, which moves you to the exact position on the screen, offset moves you this distance in its direction. For example, X position 500 puts you 500 pixels away from the left border. X offset 500 moves you 500 pixels to the right, no matter where you are. While offset is great for animation, you should keep in mind to reset it back to 0 once you are done. Cup spin, yeah. Then there's also align, which changes the anchor and then the position, so it can make placement very hard to do right. So please, don't use align. Front facing. Oh god. I will remember none of this. Yes. Since we're on the topic of personal space, in case you ever wanted a more personal moment with a certain someone, or just need to get some space, the zoom function is the perfect tool. Images that get shown statement will be placed on top of old ones. If you want to prevent that, either use Z order with the higher numbers being shown in front, or you could put the keyword behind the image's name and the image tags that it should be behind. Lastly, there is X zoom. Give it a -1.0 and the sprite turns the other direction. Now, depending on whenever the image is a cup of coffee or one of our large tail feather friends may or may not make the end result look odd when animated. So try to use it as a sudden change instead of overtime. If you want a more extensive look at these statements, here are some nice links, link 1 and link 2. Well, I'm not going to click on them. Oh boy, that sure was a lot, but it's all uphill from here. Just make sure to hydrate yourself in between sessions. Oh god. Oh god, do I really want to do this? While defining characters as singular simple object works, there are better ways to go about it. Let's for a moment assume that you want your character to have different dresses, but you don't want to redraw too much. Or how about optional glasses? Maybe just have the eyes dart around. To save time and effort, we can use layered images. Instead of full images, we cut up images into useful parts. That's what Wani has. The choreography in my mods are shit. This is the part I need the most. What we have then is a list of heads, dresses, arms, and whatever else should have variables. Sage? What did they do to Sage? For more emotive sprites, it can be partially ignored since these are a little harder to reuse. Now, little old me is not technically a layered image, but there are some benefits for me to be a layered image anyway. Unlike normal images, for layered images, you set up groups where one image at a time will be shown and then build up your character from there. So here would be show Folly F angry to make me change to angry. Like this. If you want a default attribute, which will always be selected if no other is picked, simply type default right after the name. You might have also noticed that we placed an anchor and offset here. This makes it so that every time I show up, these values get applied as well. Here we set up a null, just null parentheses image. If this one is selected, then nothing of that group gets displayed. Very nice for things like hats and other accessory groups. To get back to our art assets, you may have noticed something about the heads. Yeah. Yep. The heads have a lot of space, or what as we call it here, white space beneath them. By keeping extra white space beneath it, it now perfectly aligns with the rest of the body. Make sure to keep white space if you don't want to align the heads by hand inside of Rimpy. Remember the Z zoom features, set it up like this at the end of a layered image, and you can change the image's direction by typing left or right after the name of its attributes. So show Folly F viewer left makes me look to the other side. Like this. As a low preview, we can also define animations as an attribute. Simply define an animation and give it an attribute name. All in all, unless you are working with already established and defined assets, I highly recommend trying to give layered images a try. As before, there are a lot of extra features to explore with this one. While we are almost done with defining images, let's look at some potential issues that could arise during development. Oh god. Oh no, Liz! What is that fucking smile? Bingo. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm making pretty good progress with my portfolio. Crocodile. The motive is still lame. Too bad some people here fail to appreciate the finer details of my work. I mean, it's pretty good, but it's just a street. Skin Row to be precise. If by finer details you mean glass shards and needles ruining my wheels, then yes, I've noticed them. I know, I could have picked a better place, but Ben told me urban photography would be amazing for my portfolio. Was as high as balls, yeah. Capturing the current political landscape in a single image is definitely going to help my professional career. Besides, it wasn't that bad, right? You're right, at least we didn't get mugged. Or stabbed. How do you change your skin color like that? Speaking Skin Row, if you need more photos, I know this rundown pizza place we can... Bully Naomi. Oh god. There you are, losers. God damn it. There goes Liz. it's just retarded Mia. How does she keep finding us? You would think eating an entire staircase would put a hamper on her. I finally found you, silly G's. I mean, more than already. Mia, I'm warning you, if you try to start anything... What? I don't want to do anything. In fact, I only came here to show these peasants some of my new creations. Alright then. What the hell? If she's only here to show some of her stuff, then let's humor her at least on this. Thought Parker was learning code live. Yes, this is part of the code. Fine by me. Alright, Mio. That's me. What did you want to show us? The best to start ever. Something that dwarfed everything you guys ever did. Yeah, what is it? A new sprite. Behold. Couldn't find the files mod. Learn to code assets, image, characters. Wani gag. Yeah, this is giving me some Wani Gemu flashbacks. Yeah. Yeah. You okay there? Yeah, it's... Did you properly define your sprite before trying to use it? No. And that's why you should always make sure to copy the proper file path. Oh god, front-facing Inko. Yeah, we're in the little gator mod, yeah. Oh, my fucking foot's starting to cramp up. The fuck? Yo, Winky, since when can he do that? To ensure that this error doesn't happen, another usual reason for this error to show up are minor syntax errors, non-existent files, and changes that haven't been saved yet. Wani Gemu, yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely give that mod another go once it's like fully out. I feel like I need a vacation from that whole thing. If you're still unsure afterwards, try and follow the whole path down. You'd be surprised how many issues can start there. Do you know what to do? Wait, do you now know what to do? I guess. Let me try to change again. Something still feels off. Wow, you really suck at this. Even Inko can get a new expression without breaking down. But I did everything right this time. Well, let's take a look, shall we? God, this is actually creepy. Ah, you forgot the space. Now Rempy thinks you are searching for an attribute tag that does not exist. What the actual fuck is going on here? Coding, yeah. I have no idea what this is. This is too hard. Want us to bend your head crest a little? Maybe we can get the right frequency this time. Snuff, sniff. What even is Rempy? And why do I think we're not talking about pastry here? Do you mean I swear to... If you keep your code and art assets clean and easy to access, then many problems can be avoided before they become game breaking. There's also another very helpful way of building your own image: composite images. Technically, still working on layers. Here you pick up images by hand from a list of already defined images. This makes its components very modifiable and easy to change. Layered images have mostly replaced it, but backgrounds can still get a lot of uses out of composite images. As a guy who learns to code in uni, this is not how coding looks like. Am I doing something wrong with my life? If you want, for example, a room that changes appearances depending on choices done in-game or even just general story progression, you can use composite images. Similar to layered images, you can create your background like here. Depending on the situation, composite images' compact nature might be what you're looking for in scenes and backgrounds. That's not the only thing they can do. A more advanced aspect of them is also to accept animations, which work great for making backgrounds feel more alive. And since we're talking about animations, why don't we take a proper look at them? Let's clear this for now. Now, you all are probably want to now learn how to do animations, right? Great! When using transforms, we use choreography to mimic animations. However, there's a way to implement proper animations as well. Yep, that's it. The basics of animations, switching images at a high enough speed to look animated, but slow enough to get registered by the naked eye. Here we switch from one image to the next with a small pause in between and a repeat statement at the end to loop the entire thing. Obviously, animations can have all sorts of effects applied to them, some of which we already saw and some we will see soon. You think Spider gets butt mad whenever the one community mocks and taunts his beloved Parasaur OC? Wasn't also Spider didn't fucking want to conform to the layered stuff, like he had to draw all his sprites out, and that's what literally got him booted? If you could combine AI modules with Rempy and make AI generated scenes in real time. Alright, changing colors, moving around, talking like little old me here, and who knows what else. The magical thing about game development is that the sky's the limit. That last sentence is technically a lie. Currently, the only way to implement animations is by doing it like above or importing a video. For now, GIFs are not usable in Rempy, but I'm sure they will implement them soon. Hey kids, Future Foley here. Just wanted to quickly chime in and say that nothing has changed yet, but I'm sure they will implement GIFs soon, ha. Editor's notes, GIFs were in fact not implemented soon. Yeah, one game who doesn't use layered sprites either, oof. The last part of this class is dedicated to the Color Matrix class. It's a very useful tool to play with image colors. There are a bunch of them, so let's get through a few of them. Simply tints an image to a certain color, pretty basic, but it's also pretty easy to use. Oh no, Fooly Cooley's taking damage. Multiplies itself with the alpha channel to change its value. 0.0 means I become invisible, and 1.0 makes me visible. Oh no, she's dying now. She's gonna vanish. Now you see me? Now you don't. She died. Color me surprised. Alternatively to the opacity matrix, we can also change the image alpha with the alpha statement. The same rule regarding the value between 0.0 to 1.0 still apply. If you want to change the color saturation, 0.0 for grayscale and 1.0 for full color. You can also optionally manipulate one of the 3 color channels. Unlike the others here you rotate the color wheel by degrees and change colors like this. Oh no, she got the Starman! Remember the good old days of the PS1 when they used GIFs to make moving backgrounds? Yeah, this is actually pretty nice. Purple is a pretty color. Pretty cool color. This is how you can invert colors, if that's your thing. We are not judging here. This changes the brightness of the image, great for turning normal old me into a mysterious black silhouette. But of course this goes the other way, and everything in between. You may have noticed that we always start with setting up the default value of the matrix. This is necessary to ensure that the color matrix doesn't get skipped. Having to write the normal value at the start also has the benefit of knowing what value to go back to once it's done. Just like other animations and ATL, you can also apply color, alpha, and nearly everything else over time as well. Can't believe it's been 40 minutes I've been sitting here. I gotta like gently readjust myself to make sure my ass doesn't go dead. Because if I move too fast, my tailbone just pops and it hurts. Also, just to be clear, colors can affect the camera, same as animations. Oh god, it's a rave party. Just don't forget to clean up after. That should be everything for now, so go out there and define and color some images. Alright, transforms. At this point, you should know how to define and place images, so let's look at actually manipulating images live. To keep things simple, we will call what we are doing here animation, but other fitting name would be choreography. Well, you don't need transforms, not using them can make your game or mod feel very static and dull. And since this is such an important class, I decided to enlist some help. Thank you both for helping me out here. Hey, no problem. None at all. Fung. Fanug. Let's just teach these dorks how to do whatever. Modding. Modding, right. Well, why don't you say hello to our dear students? Where are they, anyway? Right there. Oh god, front-facing. Oh god. After Jesus, she's crazy. Just play along until she lets us leave. So, where should we start? Good question. Why don't we start with something fun? Changing alpha. Woohoo. Every image has an alpha value between 1.0 and 0.0. 1.0 means the image is completely visible, and 0.0 means it's completely gone. You alter an image's alpha the same way you change its position. In fact, let's try it out. Wait, what? Skadoosh. Not the most complicated thing, sure, but it can help you do a lot of cool things, especially with self-made backgrounds and VFX, which we will look at later. What the fuck did you do to him? Jeez, you two? What's with everybody swearing today? Bear didn't do anything to him, I swear. Hey, Fang, I'm still here. Anon, where are you? Anon stares into your soul. Still where he last stood, silly. I just changed the alpha value to a 0. See? Sure, you can make it... Can you make it visible again now? Sure can do. Sorry, I forgot the ease in this time. Speaking ease in. Are you good? I just had an out-of-body experience, so not really. You're probably wondering how to make things like movement happen over time instead of suddenly. No. Sure do. In Rempi, we use something called ATL, or Animation and Transformation Language for animation, setting positions, and so on. If you took a look at position and anchor before this, then you already saw it in action. We use ATL when we create, move, or manipulate images, or create our own transforms that can be used everywhere. Little tip, if you want to use transforms everywhere, try offset instead of position. How do you move stuff around anyway? Good question. Let's take a look at the two most commonly used methods. Linear, which is a linear movement over time, and easings, movements that can change in speed around certain parts of its movements. Ease in, for example, starts slow and ends fast. Ease out is the reverse. One thing to realize about transforms is that there are many functions, like ease, that are necessary to make it work. There are tons of different easing in Rempi, but if you want to take a look at some of them and how they work, here are a bunch of helpful links. Once you get some experience with transforms, you can do some pretty cool tricks. Like what? Dance! This is what you were doing instead of hanging out with me? I know it can look a little dumb, but that's because she's doing it for now reason. No reason? Usually you want to mimic movements that a still image can't display and is described through dialogue. So it usually doesn't look this dumb. No. You done soon? I just had the best idea. Standing still. Nope. Why don't you guys do the next few segments? You're the teacher. Why don't you do it? It's on repeat, so I can't stop. Besides, I have zero doubt you guys can't do it. I have no clue about any of this. Why did I even have to show up? Because I know deep down that you will one day be an amazing teacher yourself. Wow, thanks. No problem. Just keep the ball rolling, and I find a way to stop this bouncing. Now, I'm gonna stand up for a bit. Hold on, guys. Alright, raise the mic. There we go. Hold up, can't you just use a different transform to stop? Sayonara, snooters. Front facing. My god. Let's just get this over with. Where do we start? Her notes say matrix colors. Did she already talk about it? Well, yes, but redundancy is the key to teaching. Sure. So, if you want to manipulate colors and stuff, you, use a matrix color? Yeah. And you can do that with ease in. Yep. You lied to me. This is lame. Oh yeah, well, don't mind if I do this then. Squawk. Guess now you really are a monochromatic weirdo. Oh, and he said something. Thanks. Oh wait, I can't scroll back. No! It's another one of those mods that I can't scroll back. Honk. What? That's odd. Did you change her language settings? No, I just changed her colors. I have no eyes and I must see. Maybe there are some dependencies I didn't know of. Try the usual. I'm not gonna hit my girlfriend with a stick. No, silly, the other one. Alright. Reset. Better. Yeah, never do this again. Remember, kids, never change your significant other's saturation without consent. What's next on the list? It says crop. What's that? You use it to crop image. How to take this? Who is it? Oh, there you go. It's the thing Wani uses. Hey, Fang, can I talk for a minute? Can that wait? Me and Anon are really busy right now. Right, the concert. Actually, we're teaching somebody how to mod. Explain, monkey. That's programming. But Fang, don't you know programming's is a very unstable profession? Just this month, companies all around America cut over 5,000 jobs alone. I swear, Anon, I'm sure you'd love to be a little code monkey, but can you stop dragging Fang into these futureless... Who? Oh, just because I care for my friend's asked. You limb-tailed, hairless piece of shit. Not this again. Hey kids, why don't we calm down first? Trigger's not being able to understand, let alone use technology, is not my problem. So get bent, Trish, leaf muncher. How about I teach you how to kick your stupid caveman head in? How about it, Skinny? I'm warning you, Trish. Be reasonable before I have to take drastic measures. Like what? Watch rom-coms alone in your dingy shithole of apartment? Jump chapter. I don't understand this. No fucking way. Still think I'm joking around. But wait, which one is that? The one where you become my depressed trad wife. Oh, I hate that one. So what will it be, Trigger? Oh god. We actually have some shit here. That's great. Hollow bluff. Triggers can't code. We both know you don't have the balls, Gorilla Dick. Alright, don't tell me I didn't warn you. Good ending, my ass. Editor's note, since this is in Wani's, let's just go to the game's ending 3. Alright. And see blackness. Olivia? It was extremely dark, and the only source of light is coming from the entryway. Is this gonna be the whole ending 3? Are you kidding me? I take my sunglasses off in an attempt to see through the darkness better. Olivia, the heck happened in here? Why is it so dark? I make out Olivia's shape in her bed. It's a long story. Come, sit on the bed. Don't you have a lamp? Can't you turn it on? I don't want to ruin it. Is darkness really that necessary for whatever this... you know what? We've been through this, so I'm gonna keep going. Can I... Oh, I can't skip. Is this all ending 3? Are you kidding me? It's still going. Oh my god. It's alright. Alright. I think it's the whole ending 3, so oh boy. Back down. It's not canon anyway. Whatever, you win. Oh shit, this is ending 2 dialogue, is it? The show tomorrow is still a go, though, right? Sure thing. The owner even said we get some free pizza if we get a big crowd. The mod lied. Free food is free food. Free food is free food. True, anyway. I get out of your hair, well, thanks, hair. Har har, get out of here, you underdeveloped little rascal, you. Finally, someone with some sense. Fucking weirdos. You know, I think we really start to grow as people. I guess you do. What were we doing again? Alright, here we go. Should be good. Should we not explain this at least a little? Fine. Crop cuts out a frame from an image. It needs 4 values to work. The first and second value determines where the upper left corner of the cropped image image will be. The third value gives the width of the frame, and the last one gives the height. Should be good now. You really are a natural. I know. Anyways, next up is parallel, repeat, and block. Alright, let's put this bitch into overdrive. Parallel is used when you want to have 2 things, usually movements happen at the same time. Repeat is used to repeat everything before it's left. Use it carefully with indentation. Block is used if you want only a certain part of a transformation to repeat. If you want to repeat to stop, simply replace the current transform repeating itself with a new one. Like this. See? Alright, what's next? Well, shouldn't we show some examples or something? Why? Because how are people supposed to know how to apply any of this? By looking it up? No front-facing again. On the off chance that somebody sees this, the most important part of learning is self-discipline. No matter how much we show here, or how much we talk about it, you will only ever have a chance at learning something if you actually start doing it. So, after whatever this is, I want you to stop finding excuses to not work on whatever you want to do and just start. God, I feel dizzy. Yeah, that's why I don't like going POV. Bang. That was beautiful. I knew I picked the right people for the job. No problem, but you can take over the last one. Will do. Hey kids, I hope you are still here because we're nearly done with transforms. By the way, there is an alternative to the wait statement for animations called pause. Just add a number after the pause statement and the game will pause until it's done. If indented, it will pause at that indentation for handy animations and choreography. True, learning by doing is best, yeah. I still feel like I don't get any of this. The words are like fucking Minecraft language for me. Therapist front-facing Fang isn't real. She can't hurt you. If you don't add a value after pause, it pauses. Forever. Until the player clicks again. You probably saw a lot of them already, but if you have trouble properly aligning animations, then adding a pause can help. If you want to play a funny prank on the player, add a hard pause, a pause that cannot be skipped, by typing this. Hard pause. Yeah, then I can't skip it. I see. Just kidding. I got you good though, right? It's actually really annoying. Yeah, why would you ever want to put that into your mod? And everyone looks at me. You probably saw pauses being used in animations already, so this should be a piece of pie. What? Or a piece of red pie. Oh my god, we dropped a Snoot concert for this. Slipknot. It's Slipknot, you bird brain. That's about it. Some of this might be a little bit hard to grasp at the start. Not really. But with training and trial and error, you can become a transform master in no time. Cool, but can we transform out of here now? Sure thing. Thanks for helping out old me on such short notice. Not like we had anything else going on anyway. Say hi to your mother for me, please, will you? Will do. It wasn't that bad towards the end, but it's still gonna be the last time we're gonna do your mom a favor. Agreed. Young love is wonderful, isn't it? If you ever find yourself running into issues, be sure to check the wiki, and especially a certain game featuring a certain green baryonyx. Okay, so now we're on to transitions. Oh man. When switching between images for scenes or characters especially, you usually want to make the transition as smooth as possible. Changing images with no transitions is not always bad. In fact, for choreography, ATL/transforms, we can avoid them to make the movement sharper and less ghostly. Rule of thumb, if the image stands still, then use transitions. If not, then don't. Unless the protagonist is a ghost or super fast, whatever works best for the situation and image in question. Basically, a transition is the action that moves the scene from one image to the next. Different transitions have different effects, time intervals, and other features that can give even just transitioning to another scene cinematic in a way. I'm gonna sit back down. Oh. That was like, what, 10 minutes of standing? Oh. We're just like an hour in. Let me get some water. Oh. Rampy comes with several transitions. One of them is dissolve, probably the most used one of the bunch. Oh god. Dissolve, as the name implies, dissolves out of the old and into the new image. You probably also saw scenes getting dissolved as well already. This was a normal dissolve. You see how that looked? If it doesn't fit the situation, then try to see if it looks better without. Dissolves can be done in two ways. Here we use dissolve with an uppercase D so that we can add a time value behind it. This dissolve is completely lowercase. Here we'll use the default value of 0.25 seconds. Dissolves in all but one other transition pause the game while running. As an example, if we switch to a new scene, no new dialogue or animations will play until it's done. This can be helpful as it prevents players from progressing too fast before something can finish loading. It can also, however, be very restrictive and cause other issues. Like here, where the dialog box will stay empty until it finishes the dissolve. It looks awkward and, let's be honest here, very silly. One very important thing of note, only one transition can run at once. If transitions would start overlapping, either one is chosen. This has the side benefit of being able to transition several images simultaneously. Simply put the dissolve statement on a new line right below the last show image statement. If you have a group of image with transitions each line, they will be played after another. To keep the benefit of dissolves without pausing the game, we can use dict transitions. Properly explaining dict transitions might be a little bit much for this class, so let's just say for now that they can affect one layer and that they do not pause the game. This big fella here was made for a certain game featuring a green baryonyx. A bit more complex than usual, yes? I wonder which scene this is. First segment, they create their own transitions using the same technique used in creating their own transforms. In the second segment, they do the same, but with arguments, being mindful that they use Python code to define them here to make them more dynamic. In the third segment, they create a big appeal of dict transitions, the non-delay transitions, in this case dissolves. If you're wondering what master stands for, that's the layer these transitions will affect. Chances are you will not need to bother with any other layers for quite a while, so just know that this is how you can create your own transitions, which could be anything you want, as long as they can be properly implemented. Keep in mind, though, that sometimes you want to pause the game for a transition. Once again, there is never a one true solution to a problem. On a side note, remember the extend text feature? If you were to use normal dissolve inside of one of the text boxes would be weirdly empty for a moment. That's because it's technically transitioning so the text is cleared. By using a dict dissolve, we can ignore that restriction and animate in between text segments. That's not a scene, just definitions. Okay. See what just happened? That was a fade transition. Transitions can have all sorts of styles to them, but usually the basic ones can do the job just fine. I encourage you all to experiment. There's some interesting things out there. By the way, fade works the same way as dissolve by using an uppercase F and values behind it. Give a scene a more complex transition. Experimentation is key here. And yes, while not applied here, you can use dict transition on fade as well. I did say before that there can only be one transition, which inadvertently means that objects coming in together will be affected by the same transition. Well, I lied. If you want to avoid, for example, a character moving in being affected by a present transition, you apply a none transition to him. They also have to be the first transition in the group, otherwise it won't work. I wish I had computer skills, I know, right? Who the fuck is in my frickin' class? I swear, the moment I find the right frickin' keys, I'll lend you, little bastards. Language? Geez, everyone is swearing like a sailor nowadays. Oh, right. V-punch. If you want a simple transition that can shake the camera, just apply V-punch to it. It works for text, but might have some issues if applied over things. Always remember, they can always apply it on a new line as well. Just make sure to add some appropriate sounds to it, otherwise it might feel a little silly. Hey lady, if you want to talk crazy nonsense in there, I don't mind. Can you just give me the magazines from my desk? I need them for the next frickin' class. Not with a mouth like that. Yeah, whatever. I'll just use my other stash then. Some people. Right. There's also H-punch that applies the same applies here as well. Carl jump scare incoming. Then in this segment, let's look at a more subtle way to improve transitions. By typing window auto hide, we tell the game to hide the text box. If you want to look any of this up, link, here you go. There it is. There's how the text box disappeared earlier, so we don't have to stay empty for too long. Well, not necessarily the biggest change. It frees up more space for CGs, videos, or full backgrounds to be displayed properly. With this out of the way, you should be able to make some smooth transitions like a pro. Hello, Porcupine. I'm very happy for Blaze. Yeah, he's still going up in subs. It's crazy. Alright, last one for this one. Gradients in VFX. Something of a personal favorite, as it can help make things more dramatic. This is what we call a simple VFX. Unlike more complicated effects, these are easy to do and implement. All you have to do is open any drawing software and start drawing. After that, just implement them like any other image. Want to have a creepy shadow crawling on from the side, create a black gradient over a transparent background. Want a flashlight? That's just a circle, like this. Even more complex looking effects like rain and fog and Rempy are all built from simple images. I'm dying. And yes, matrix color, alpha, and other manipulators work as well. Alpha and color are especially important to add that extra flair. So if you're worried that your projects won't look fancy because you don't have animations, just improvise. Oh, that was fast. Code. Oh god. I'm gonna take a quick break and just walk my legs out of it. I'm sorry guys, I'll be right back. If I could find where my shit is. No. So, I don't have my button set for BRB for some reason, so I'm just gonna have to manually do that. Blaze is a real-life friend. He blew up pretty big just a few days ago by putting out a Minecraft video. I'll be right back. Alright. I forgot I could actually just manually mute by using this new mic's feature, but I'm so stuck in my old ways. Let me un-BRB myself. Alright, I'm gonna lay back in a way that doesn't really engage the tailbone. I probably got 30 more minutes in me. Not that anyone cares, but my wife made some homemade ramen and I'm straight munching right now. That's nice. Ugh, I should probably eat something. Okay. Init and fun with Python. Let's go. In Rimpy, there are a lot of things that need to be set up before the game starts properly. We will look at such examples later in this class. But for now, take a look. Right here. To define something as initialization, you just put it in proper indentation. Styles for UI, classes, and new audio channels, among other things, can and should be loaded this way. You can also add a number between init and Python to run them from lowest to highest. For this, it is generally advised to only use the numbers -999 to 999 to avoid conflict with Rimpy's internal structure. Ahem. Anyway, this might feel a little advanced right now, but it's pretty simple and very important if you want to implement custom mechanics and features. Some of you might be wondering if we use simple Python statements to alter code at runtime. I also read the description. Now that you mention it, I can definitely hear the difference. That sounds better though, yeah. Some of you might... I still have the noise gate on. I know if I turn it off, you'll hear all my fans go off. Some of you might be wondering if we use a simple Python statements to alter code at runtime. We sure do. The $sign is used to call such code statements, another thing we will be looking at in the next few classes. Understanding code setup is essential if you ever want to make your own games in the future, since Rimpy relies a lot on expanding from the basics. Alright, flags and scores. Now we're getting to the interesting and adaptive part. While you can make your own story linear, many times it adds a lot to the story to have meaningful and less meaningful choices in your game. The basis of a lot of choices are flags and their attached values. When giving a flag value, you can apply the default keyword. Unlike the define statement, the default value can be freely changed, and while you technically don't need it, it usually breaks something if a value is declared without it. Here are a few examples of flag values. A string name that can be changed. I need to move chat because like my mic's right in front of chat and I cannot read it. Python, yeah. It's coding. Hey, Bacon. A string name that can be changed. Oh, I'm still clicked in OBS, that's why. I clicked out of OBS, come on now. A boolean, which either has true or false. And I'd love to make a mod, but I don't have any bite-sized ideas, only massive undertakings that seem too intimidating to start with. And an init, or int, which can be any, not actually any, decimal number. If you ever start a new save, these are the values that will be attached to those flags. Now to actually change them all you have to do is add a $sign to signify that it is Python code, and then change the value with whatever value you want, as long as that value is of the same type. No way is that some bacon, yeah. I use scores and a flag to make the endings for rebirth and recovery. Huh. Any Snoot modders in the chat? Oh, I wonder. In this example, our favorite pterosaur is getting some much needed support, increasing her score. It is that simple, that it gives a lot of options to improve the replayability of your story. Adding minor changes to the dialogue depending on the score, adding pronouns to somebody's name, having the scene only play if you picked up something before. The choices are endless. If you're still confused, no worries. The next class has another very hands-on example for you. Oh god. Oh god. Oh yeah, choices. I see. Choices and flow of code. During setup, I showed this. When progressing the story, you use labels. The code will go from top to bottom until they hit the return. Once there's nothing to return to, the game will end. handle the entire story in one big file and only use labels for things like choices and branches, but this can get very disorienting very quickly. Now, I talked about branches and labels and all that, but I haven't actually explained how to get to them, have I? In Rempy, there are two common ways of moving through code: the jump and call function. Me and Bacon are the only people here who are not. The jump function jumps to the anointed label and ignores everything in its path. Once it's done with all the code in front of it, the game simply ends like normal. Jump is great if you want to travel to certain parts of the code more than once, or if you want certain choices to skip parts of the story. Also, this is literally just teaching coding. This is a little strange, I know. This is not what I learned about those classes about Python. All I recognize are the ints and strings. I see. You should become a modder, Bacon. While we are here, let me quickly also mention the menu function. This should be self-explanatory, considering that you just picked a class a moment ago and will return to it once this one is done. My eyes are glazing over at the knowledge. The text is the clickable part of the choice menu, and everything below that is is the code that will run if that choice is picked. Be mindful of forgetting or misusing a jump to ensure your story goes the right direction. We set it up so that every time a class section concludes, it goes back to the choice menu like this one here. The call functions deceivingly similar. It jumps to a label and finishes all of its code inside of said label. Instead of continuing, however, it goes back to where the first call statement came from. Call is usually used if there's a red thread to follow. You can still jump around, but once everything is done, it will always remember to go back to where it was called from. Copy staring into our souls. If you really think about it, Bacon is a modder. There's always ways to control the call a lot more, but that is for now beyond this class. Last thing we're going to look at are the conditions. If you ever looked at if statements, then this should already make sense. Here I'm checking if you already have developer mode enabled. Depending on the answer, different dialogue will play. Answer. The most common use of conditions are flags of events are, of course, score systems for endings. Here's a little extra, the entire setup for this condition. If you're still confused, no worries. The other classes will explain conditions, or rather flags, in more detail. Sounds and musics. Video games, especially video novels, use music, ambience, and sounds to help set up an atmosphere to help the player really get into the story. For this, Rempy has set up 3 sound channels: music, sound, and voice. Voice actors are a little hard to come by, so let's focus on the other 2 instead. If you've ever played a game before, though, you probably know that one channel for music or sound is usually not enough. To have, for example, music and ambience play at the same time, we need to create another channel. First, make sure that it's inside the init Python block, since you are setting something up that should be there before the game starts proper. Then give the new channel a name, which is Sound 1 in this example. After this, we set the mixer to sound effects, which helps set up the volume through the options menu. Other default mixers are either music or voice, corresponding to the default channels. The false here is shorthand for loop equals false. It's the third value of the function, so only giving the value is okay here. It just makes sure that by default, sounds that play through this channel will not loop on their own. And last but not least, type equals true. Since it's not the 4th value, the full name has to be given. This one just makes sure that if the sound does loop, that it will keep looping even if it fades out. Of course, there are a lot more options like that with a lot of other functions. Just hover over them to see what else can be done. Little bit of advice. These are the channels Caveman on setup. I wouldn't know. The play function plays whatever audio you want. All you have to do is give the channel and the name of which you can define, just like an image. You can also provide a fade-in, which makes the sound come in slowly, and a volume which sets out how loud the sound should be. Keep in mind that changing the volume later will be multiplicative, so setting it to 0 at the start is not going to be that helpful. There's also the keyword loop, which loops whatever sound is playing here until it is told to stop. Handy if you want to have more control over what music, for example, should loop and which should not. Additionally, there are also the stop functions which stop the track with an optional fade out and cue, which, as the name implies, cues another sound or even a non-looping track after this one. Now, regarding their definitions, the slap you just heard was an asset from our own folder, and the one from the original game, both defined differently. If you make your own game, the second one is how you usually call any sound assets. Since mods are outside the auto-define's range, they have to be either defined like the image before or called like the first line. That's fading. Did you heart it? I just turned the music down a little so we can focus on the next part. Just like with flags before, when changing things through Python, you add a $sign at the start. Yeah, there are the ifs and elses. The first number changes the volume multiplicative to the original setting when the music started to play. The second value, just like fade-ins, fades to new volume in to keep things smoother. The third value determines what a channel is affected. To keep in mind to change the volume back to 1.0 when you're done, otherwise you might be wondering later why it's so quiet. Anyways, let me fix the music now. Ha, scary, huh? Keep delays and fading outs in mind to make sounds and musics more organic. Unless, of course, this is what kids like these days. Alright, the last one. The advanced stuff. Sprite rotations. Cameras kill me. Kinetic text, okay. While moving around can be pretty fun, sometimes you might want to also rotate around. You should probably look at the transform section first before continuing. Objects thrown in an arc, a clumsy thief falling over, and even a dashing hero hanging from a vine all require a rotation. To be more precise, a rotation around the z-axis. You know what the z-axis is, right? Oh boy, another choice. Nope, I dropped out. Sorry to hear that. Anyways, to demonstrate, I would like to introduce an old friend of mine, Mr. Cup. Hold on, what if I say yes, though? Ah, seems like we have a smart cookie over here. To demonstrate, I would like to introduce an old friend of mine, Mr. Cup. Cup. To properly rotate an image, you need to be aware of the proper syntax. Without much work, the sprite can be rotated around itself like this. Keep in mind, though, it rotates to and not by 360 degrees, so using this line again would cause the sprite to stand still. However, no matter where you place the actual anchor, it will always rotate from the middle of the sprite. The anchor just moves him to that space. To fix this, we already have the transform anchor set to true so that it will rotate around the setup Y anchor. The other pretty obvious point is that the sprite jumped downwards during rotation. That's because it moves to the middle of the sprite's positions for rotations. We don't know why actually, but there is an easy solution. Let's just clean this up for now. Setting all position values back to their origin and the transform anchor to false resets the rotation. The rotate needs the value none instead of 0 for this to work. To properly rotate sprites around anchors other than 0.5, you have to add an offset that is equal to half the sprite's height. Cup is 160 pixels high, so adding a 80 and negative 80, we can push the cup back to the right position. Let's keep this fella going for now. While sometimes a little unpredictable, rotating can add a lot of energy to scenes as long as you keep the offset and anchor positions in mind. Also, if you see some jittery movements, just put subpixel true before the rotation, and it should smooth things out. That was fast. Cameras! Kill me. Oh boy. I guess it's time to talk about the camera. Whenever you want to pan, zoom, or move the screen around, the camera needs to be moved. It can be a bit finicky, but if done right, it can help make your project more cinematic. Focusing the camera like this makes the readers feel closer to the protagonist, while this would make them feel more distant. But make sure you have enough space to zoom out. Obviously, you can move the camera around in such the same ways as sprites, and despite how rempy looks, it does have slight 3D capabilities. This is the code for the first camera movement. We zoom the camera into 1.5 of its original value while also moving it 500 pixels to the left and 150 pixels up. Now, if you had paid attention, then you would be wondering why positive numbers go left and up when it should be the opposite. This is where perspective truth comes in. To keep it simple, it aligns itself to the window, so things like offset and exposition are inverted. It might be complicated at first, but I'm sure you'll get behind it in no time. One last bit regarding cameras. As you can see, you can do more with your camera than just move it about. Many effects that you can use on images can also affect the camera itself. Just make sure to clean up after yourself. Once you're done, reset the camera back to its original point, and on a new line, type camera to truly reset the camera. Remember, there are a lot more features, especially regarding 3D, but depending on the scope of your project, it might not be necessary. Kinetic text. Kinetic text is a fun feature which gives you more bang for the buck. It can make your text bounce, make you scared, make you spin, and fade in, or scream really loud. There are a lot more that can create all sorts of interesting results. Just keep in mind to have open and closed brackets like normal text tags. In general, they function the same as they usually pretty... Wait. In general, they function the same, so they are usually pretty easy to use. All you have to do is download their Rempy files and put them into your own project. My bit of advice, try them out. They are free for use and super fun. In fact, let me help you with that. Oh god. Oh god! It opened up a fucking itch.io page. Jesus. Oh my god. Just download the example project and have fun learning. Oh my god, that was scary. My god. Oh my god. Oh, well, I'm in my webpage. Let's do a roll call. 11 people watching. I understand completely. Alright. Oh, and of course, you can set up your own text tags as well. You're about to get doxxed like Blaze. Oh god. Using the alt principle from before, we can set up transform that can affect text. Remember me screaming like a banshee a moment ago? Experiment and see what you can do. Just keep in mind not to overdo it with the effects and make it unreadable. And that's it. We finished class. It only took 1.5 hours. Alright, that should cover the basics. Of course, there are a lot of other things you can do as well. Always try to learn new things. You'll be surprised at how much can be done in Rempy. Playing videos, map exploration, and inventory systems, the possibilities are endless. Thank you all for joining me today. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask your modding colleagues. They might just have the answer you are looking for. And don't forget to check out the code of this mod as well. That's it for today. Be cool and stay in school. Now before I go, I want you to always remember something important. Working on anything worthwhile takes a lot of hard work. There will be days where you don't know what to do and feel like you're just tossing it all into the bin would be the better option. But if you start with passion and maintain with self-discipline, then I'm sure you can create something great. Yes, creation is hard, but at the end of the day, it can also be one of the most fulfilling aspects in life. Phew, I'm spent. Time to make my smooth exit. Tired Snorri. Bye-bye. Okay, bye. It just goes on its own. Oh, that's pretty neat. That was boring. I mean, it was. There was some boring aspects because I don't understand anything. I don't think I'd be able to mod for the life of me, but maybe someone will watch this. Maybe someone will play it. And they'll make something. Me, all I'm good at is probably writing a story. I don't think I could structure anything, like, in a video game. Great tutorial, yeah. I mean, for you, seeing as you probably know some of that stuff. Me, I'm just like, it's words. It's words on a screen. I know words. I don't know what they do, but they're words. Oh. You know what? I'm not hurting as bad as I thought I was. I actually laid the gamer chair all the way back, and I'm not that bad. I wouldn't want to overdo it, though. Oof. I enjoyed that mod. I do appreciate Fooly Cooly, and I do need more Fooly... Well, I could say I want Fooly Cooly mods, or more mods of her, but then people say, oh, just make your own mod. You just got done! Best I could do is a fanfic. How about that? My god. I had fun. I was planning to have a new ending stream, but I didn't get that done in time. I'll probably wrap it up here. Maybe I'll throw on Left 4 Dead 2. Seeing if how I feel is good or not. It's a fun way to run through things. Yeah. Update for purple stuff will be later this month. Alright. I look forward to that. I mean, if I were to open up all the code in there, I wouldn't have no idea how to read all that, but I'm glad there's people who are tech magicians who can take care of that. If I was rich, I would just start commissioning people, but I am not. I can only wish. I cannot commish. Good night. Good night, will it bend? Yeah, give me a few minutes and we'll see how I feel. I'll hop in bed and get some Left 4 Dead started over there. I'm not sure how my setup's gonna sound because I have a mic set up pretty much right on the bedside, like a night table or whatever. Yes, Who Drank the Purple Stuff is my most anticipated mod. It's pretty good. It's got potential. Oof. I'm feeling that water come back up. Yeah, I haven't had... Well, I did have a soda, like, half a week ago, and it gave me leg cramps in the morning, so I'm, like, trying to cut out all soda if possible. I have a ginger ale right now, like a little tiny one, but I'm not sure what that's going to do to me tomorrow. Man, my appetite's been everywhere with this crap. I know I shouldn't be rambling, but it's been a while, and my life has been inside out, upside down. It's getting bigger and better all the time. Yeah, of course. That's probably, would that be like potentially the biggest mod for like Wani? I feel like there's not that many big Wani mods out there. I think you own them all, actually, because Rebirth and Recovery was pretty chunky. Man, should probably hop off. I do have a stream I want to do tomorrow if anyone jumped in late. Yeah, I heard about that, the interior of Buster's car. I peeked the well, I don't peek the mod itself. I have it I think I have it subscribed to new comments, so whenever someone posts a new comment on the mod, I go check in. So you'd be surprised on how many things I follow on fucking Steam. It's pretty nuts. Okay, apparently I have a notification, but there's nothing to see. I love when Steam doesn't work. But yeah, I will probably hop off. Give me like a few minutes and we'll jump on Left 4 Dead, perhaps. If not, stream tomorrow for sure. Loved the new CGs last time. Oh, for... Why was I thinking of this mod? The CGs for purple stuff's pretty good. Speaking of purple stuff, I should really do another purple stank adventure because AI, was it AI Roguelike had like a bunch of updates. Mostly minor updates, but updates nonetheless, and I like to stream when we have those updates, so I'll probably throw that to the wind sometime in the foreseeable future, maybe later this week or next week. We'll see where it lands. But yeah, I'm gonna hop off. Give me a few, and we'll see what happens. If not, tomorrow. I'll see you there, or see you tomorrow.